All right, so I had wings today with friend of the show, McClizu. Mm-hmm. He brought to my attention a concern he has for me and my well-being, and I'm going to share it with you right here. I'm a little concerned about how excited you get about decomp. What do you think, Kate? Is that concerning?
You do like glop.
Oh, that was his next thing. He goes, I've never heard of glop in my life. I said, dude, I'll take a picture of the book. And he goes, I don't doubt it's in the book you read. I'm just telling you, because he's around decomp all the time. As a fireman, he's got decomp experience.
Huh. Could he speak to it at all?
Yeah. But look, some of the stuff that the deets he tells me are not for a cold open of a podcast or even for the pod, I feel. He told me some other stuff about decomp, but I was cracking up because he's like, you get too excited about it. I was like, dude, I don't know. And then I told him how we were talking about how I love seeing skeletons in clothes and stuff. Here's the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you saw some decomp firsthand, your opinion would change.
That's what I told him. And because also he knows what decomp smells like, which I've made very clear. I'm curious, but I know I'll regret it. Mm-hmm. He's like, dude, but it lives in
forever.
You plug your nose so you don't smell it, and then you can taste it. And I'm like, dude, stop rubbing it in, okay? I don't know what you're talking about.
Could he bring you?
What, just a little bit of decomp? See what happens?
Y'all live in the same town now, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll ask him, hey, next time bring a limb or something. Bring like a finger that's decomposing.
I mean, bring you on a ride along.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I'll present that to him. But he also told me something else super interesting. He says that silencers on guns, you know how in movies they go pew, pew. Mm-hmm. He shot one with a silencer, and he says you don't hear a damn thing.
Whoa.
There's no sound. So he's like, that's laughable in movies. So I was like, they must do that noise just so you know it's being shot. He's like, yeah, you can kind of hear the air move, right, but it doesn't make a sound whatsoever.
It's not like...
Yeah, it's not even that.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Huh. You know, here at the pod,
yeah,
we're not like murder super fans. We don't like love murder. We like true crime television shows.
Yes.
It's not like we get our rocks off when people are murdered.
No, I get my rocks off when people get busted for doing the murdering. I'll admit the rocks come off then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, of course, I think the whole heads know that.
I hope so. I hope that your love of glop doesn't make them think otherwise.
Okay, yeah. Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
Oh, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, Holeheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Cateline.
And we are here to ring in a brand new season of Dateline. We're back in familiar waters here, Kate.
Wild.
Yeah.
But this is a good one.
Okay, so it's a season 34 premiere, hosted by JMank. So already it would have to be a real stinker for us to say no to doing this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, let's try and not reveal who the killer is as long as we possibly can. But there are two things that happen in this episode, Kate. One for me and one for you, that is, many times we've said, is hello, is a sign of guilt or something.
Yep.
Two different things. And one's a soapbox for me and one's a soapbox for you. So what you liked this episode, huh?
I did. I liked this episode. I watched it with Jillionaire live.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't know who it was from the jump. But then once I figured it out, it seemed so obvious.
Okay, I did know, I knew from the jump when I understood the basic premise of the ep because of my soapbox issue.
Sure.
But the first time I saw a clip of Kristil talking, I said, oh, she did it.
The victim.
The victim, everybody. So, I mean, I'm not going to brag about knowing the killer because the first sound up, I said, oh, she's guilty. She did it. She's up to something.
I mean, we'll get into it. She was up to a lot of things. She was solving her own case before she was even murdered.
Yeah. I mean, my God. Let's get into it because the cops, there's a lot, Techspert Kate's going to have to weigh in. And I feel like there were a lot of balls rolling of like...
Well,
yes?
First of all, this thing opens with Lester not in front of a green screen.
Okay.
But he is across the river, I think in Brooklyn, with the New York City skyline behind him for real this time. And we see the wind kind of blowing, and he's really out there. And I thought, okay, new season, new vibe.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was the first thing I wanted to talk about as well. And that's one of the little videos I sent you. I'll text it to you right now. You look at Lester's jacket kind of blow in the wind.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end, when he comes back, you can kind of hear like ambient city noise, like traffic noise, just like a slow hum. Now,
but if you looked at that thumbnail, you would think that was just his usual green screen.
Right, but I'm not quite prepared to say he is outside. My question to you was, is somebody there with a fan and they're faking this shit? Where would they be shooting this outside like this? Where? That makes sense production-wise for this guy that's going to...
Well, now that I'm looking at it, that looks like Lower Manhattan. So that's from, like, Hoboken that we're looking at it.
Okay.
But he's standing at a railing that looks like it could be like a boat. But it's so tall.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a railing or a boat because, I mean...
It's not moving.
We see... Yeah. I mean, I think this might be trickery, Kate. I think it could possibly very well be a green screen or a back projection thing in the studio where they're at. But I just want to know for sure because I want to laugh my ass off if there's a little intern over there with a little floor fan pointed at Lester's jacket. Huh?
I mean, there's traffic moving and everything.
Well, I mean, that's video.
Yeah.
That, I believe, is true footage of New York somewhere. You've pinpointed. I would have no idea. I don't doubt that, but I'm just having a hard time believe what crew and where were they if this was for real. I just don't see it happening.
We gotta know.
Yeah. I wonder if this is part of the set of the news show that he's leaving, because I have never seen it before. So maybe if people watch the nightly news on NBC, they're probably like, duh, dude, that's right outside their office.
Yeah, people probably think we are dumb as hell.
Nah. No. And here is the IMDb description. Season 34 premiere of Dateline episode entitled The Phantom.
The Phantom.
The murder of a Colorado mother seems to point to an obvious suspect, but as investigators dig deeper, they uncover an elaborate plot filled with secrets and deception that turns the entire case upside down. Okay, our story, I mean, of course, it takes place in Colorado. Where else do murders happen?
Colorado and Florida.
And in our experience, Colorado's number one with a bullet, like by a landslide, I think.
It is. It has me thinking if I need to change my list item from Florida to Colorado.
No, because Florida's reputation is that it's such a weird place where anything can happen. Like meanwhile in Florida, and it's like some meth-crazed woman threw bath salts in her butt and... You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's why Florida stays, because it's still a unique entity. But yeah, I'd say murder capital would be Colorado.
Florida is also Murph territory, right?
Yes. Anytime, talk about the dog or his whereabouts. Absolutely.
It's nice to have a buddy.
All right, so our story opens on December 14th of 2023. A cop gets sent out to a house in Broomfield, Colorado for a welfare check. This is the home of Kristil and Dan Krug. I'm glad I Googled it. I was saying Crew, like J. Crew. It's Krug as in like Krug. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this cop goes out there for just a routine welfare check. And JMank's quick to point out, I mean, it's so chill. My guy's whistling while he's working. I mean, he's straight up 7 endorsing this thing. So what are you thinking right here?
Well...
So common that John O'Hare of the Broomfield, Colorado police literally whistled while he worked.
You know, I don't love the whistling while you work thing when you are doing something as important as a welfare check. But I have to say, I did not think, and maybe you'll disagree with me, but I did not think that any of the police in this were dinguses. Nobody annoyed me.
I'm going to come for Detective Martinez in a small way, but JMank comes at him so hard with a thing he says to him.
You were on the wrong path the whole time.
Yeah.
Because somebody wanted you on the wrong path the whole time.
I want to pat Detective Martinez in the back for being chill and cool and just being like, yeah, I f***ed up.
I felt like a puppet.
That'll come up, and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But this whistling thing...
I have beef with Verizon and Google. I don't have beef with the police.
That's funny, because I'm not even sure I have beef with Verizon and Google. Something tells me if the police had been needling them, they'd have done it, is what I think. I think that's who we should be looking at here.
But they didn't know there was going to be a murder.
Well, we got to kick it down the road. We got to kick it because that's definitely a big part of it. So that's a good little tease for about 30 minutes from now. But real quick on whistling, I hate it. Okay, somebody's whistling around me. I don't like it. It's not a sign that they're carefree and having fun. It's that they want attention and they care about nothing else. But this guy's alone. I know he's got a body cam on. Whatever you do to pass the time in your day job. So I'm not mad at this whistling because he's there solo.
Kurt,
now, if he had a partner that was having to hear it.
Kurt, do you have issues with whistling because you can't whistle?
Don't try and play me like that. There's a top-notch whistle for you right there, Kate.
Okay.
So I can.
Good, honey.
Now, who did I enlighten you does not know how to whistle? Remember?
Oh, yeah. Who was it?
If you asked him, he's an A-list movie star. I don't know if I'd give him that.
Is it a douche?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget.
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi to your mother for me, okay?
Okay, so he's whistling. What's cool about this case is we got a lot of body cam footage of stuff going down, and there's also 4 cameras at this house. Now, only one of them was working day of, which will come up. Mm-hmm. But we've got a lot of like security footage of stuff happening, whether it be a complaint that happened 2 months prior or whatever. I thought there was a lot of footage.
There was, yeah.
Coming in. So we see this cop pull his SUV, like his cop car, up to the garage so he can stand on it to look inside the little windows that are on the garage. And he instantly sees, oh, shit, there's a body in there. So he like gets on the horn and says like, we need body removal. I need to make entry, blah, 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 blah.
151, send medical, and 110, I need a force entry.
He goes into the garage, and there lying on the floor, clearly dead, is Kristil Krug.
He starts doing CPR, but he quickly realizes it's too late.
And as he's doing CPR, he had raised the garage door for like EMS to come in and stuff. And that is just when Kristil's mom arrives, because she had gotten a call that said, hey, Kristil's not answering her phone.
Yeah.
And we see the mom watch the garage door come up, her walk under it, freeze.
Kristil's mom was just getting there.
Hello, ma'am. I need you to stay out, please.
What a horrible, horrible experience for this woman.
Awful. Just the worst thing you can imagine. Yeah. She is already panicked going over there knowing that no one can get a hold of her daughter.
Yeah.
And then to see the cops there and then to just walk up and immediately be greeted with her dead body, and then the next thing you know, like fire and ambulance are right behind her. It's just the emotion, the way she like collapsed, awful.
Yeah. In those situations, because like everybody's like, stay back, you can't see the body. And of course they want to see the body. Now, I agree they got to stay away because they're trying all life-saving efforts. But I also get the position of the bereaved, because they're like, well, if they're taking their last gasp, I want to be there while they're doing it.
But it's a crime scene and they can't disturb it.
That's true. And plenty more happens at the crime scene, but this is when JMank goes, but to really understand that, we got to rewind 3 months. A classic.
I thought this was a great storytelling device. I loved the way that we went back 3 months, and it's like in the next hour of the show is all prequel leading up to this.
Yeah.
To understand what happened here, you need to go back in time 3 months to September 2023.
And that I feel like it's rare that they have this much unfold beforehand that they could document it like this. But
yeah, I mean,
Kristil was on it.
What makes this so nuts and why there's so much story to tell 3 months prior is because 2 months prior, it happened in early October, and this is December 14th. So in October, a few months earlier, Kristil had been getting texts from an unknown number, and like basically she's worried, she's concerned she's being stalked. And so many things happened that she like took it to the police, and there's footage of her in there like clearly laying out where and when she's been stalked and stuff.
She wrote it all down. She had timestamps of where she was, what happened when, what information she was able to gather on her own. We see the footage of her at the police station talking to the cops, being like, I'm very thorough. I laid it all out. Here's everything that's happened.
Yeah. And so JMank says 3 months because 3 months ago, Dan, the husband, had come home from running an errand and seen someone running out of their garage. Mm-hmm. So this was like incident number 1. And then a month later, Kristil's getting these texts. One of them straight up says, I'm Anthony, which we'll find out is the name of her ex, from friggin' ages ago.
Yeah, like 20-something years prior.
Yeah, and like one of the texts does say, hey, it's Anthony, do you want to hook up? And they take a turn too, because it's like, you want to hook up, and then when she doesn't reply the next day, it's like, I saw your pics, you look fat, and fun stuff like this. Remember all the details of the stalking for later.
Isn't it so fun how men will be like, what up? And then you don't answer and they're like, bitch, you're fat anyway.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, what if I had answered?
Yeah, then...
Would I still be a fat bitch?
Yeah, dudes suck. Yeah. Man.
I think we've made that clear on this show.
Absolutely. Not only that, she got an email from an unknown address saying, hey, is this your husband? He drives like an old lady. And it was like a picture of her husband getting into his car at work. Mm-hmm. And we see the picture. And so we're seeing a lot of the footage of her talking to, I believe, Detective Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a puppet.
2 months before her death, going like, look, I have this thing called a stalker log. And she had built the timeline and all this. And this is one of the issues I have with Martinez. Doesn't make me dislike him. But I need everybody in law enforcement to accept the fact that the average person has more knowledge about crime and what needs to do for proof of crime than they did 30 years ago. Because
yes. So it's not suspicious when people come with a binder.
No. Especially for something like stalking, where we know from experience the best you can get is a restraining order that's not going to do anything.
No, it's just going to make the person angrier, and then you're definitely going to get murdered.
Yeah, and so like I thought it was so awesome and exceptional of her to have all these records, but I was saying good on ya because something tells me she like probably watches Dateline and stuff, and she's like, these are the things that they need in order to do anything about it. And he was like, how'd you know to do this? And I wanted to go like, shut up, dude. Like,
dude, everyone knows.
Yeah, ask your
also,
wife, bro. Or like,
she's really smart. She's a what was she? An astrophysicist or something, or a biochemist? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a dummy.
All I did was I was like, oh, we're going to create a stalker log. We're going to monitor this. I'm going to go see what information I can have. What's this number? I don't know. I just always heard document everything.
And the cop was talking about that when she came in. She like filled the room and like classic kind of victim stuff. But
it was different. It wasn't she lit up the room. It was like this was a lady who knew what she was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Kristil says, I think it's my ex, Anthony, from college. They had broken up in 1989, and then he had reached out twice since then, once in 2004 and once in 2016. Mm-hmm. And then now this is, according to the text, could be him again. So she's saying it's this Anthony guy.
Kristil was pretty sure she knew who was behind this.
She believed it was Jack Anthony Holland, an ex-boyfriend of hers.
So the cops take the threat seriously, as they're telling us. They take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we got to find Anthony Holland. My question for you, Kate, are you notified if there's a restraining order taken out against you?
Yes. You have to be served the paperwork.
For a restraining order?
Yes. At least in some states. I can't say for all, but I know that in one state where I previously lived, and will not say what state that is, you do get served notice.
You do?
I know this because a friend of mine had to take one out on her ex-husband.
Wow.
And I helped her find his address so that he could be served.
That's amazing. And that ties into this because Kristil is even saying, I don't know, he's all over the place. He lives in Utah. He lives in Idaho. Mm-hmm. Like they couldn't find where this guy lived.
And he moves everywhere. It's like all over the place.
So then she gets a message that said, saw you at the dentist. And so now she's thinking, how do they know where I am all the time? And so we see again footage of Kristil talking to a cop on his body cam in the garage where she's going to be found murdered a month from then. And she's going like, I'm a sitting duck right now. How do you know I was at the dentist? And she actually had the cops search her car for like a GPS tracker.
Yeah, and they put it up
Yeah.
on a lift and checked the whole undercarriage, and there was nothing.
Nothing.
And then they had cops actually surveil her to see if anyone was following her at one point.
Yeah.
And
Undercover
there was
cops.
No one. No one watching her on her street. No one following her to work or the grocery store.
Yeah. And that's where the title The Phantom comes from.
This guy's a phantom.
Because JMank's like, this person's a ghost. Mm-hmm. Where is this person that's doing the haunting? Now, November 7th is when Kristil goes to talk to Martinez. And Dateline busts out the calendar graphics, and I'm glad they did. Okay, here's a timeline of how the warrants and the search things happen that'll come up later. November 7th, interviews Kristil. November 12th, Martinez submits for the warrant. Like, he's got to, like, say, like, can I please have one? Here's why, right? And then 5 days after that is when they submit it to Verizon, Google, and a thing called TextBox. Something I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that company?
No, I hadn't. But it's these companies that can, all the companies that can figure out or trace the communications that she was receiving from this unknown person. From text, email, all the different places stuff came from. These were the companies that were going to figure out who sent them.
So that search warrant gets sent out on November 17th. It's not until December 6th when Martinez has to resubmit the search warrant to these companies because of a typo. And this is where I'm side-eyeing Martinez a little bit and the whole process. Because one, that's 2 weeks at least. And that's because it's Thanksgiving. And we know how cops feel about the weekends and Thanksgiving.
I mean, we
right?
know how the cops feel about anything after 7 p.m.
Exactly. So I've just got a lot of thoughts about this. One, I bet I can guess what he misspelled. What do you think, Kate?
Oh, I have no idea.
Probably her name. It's Kristil, but it's Kristil.
He put Kristen.
Or Crystal or Kristil EEL. Like, I mean, just to me, that is probably what it was. But that I have a problem with too. Because it's something like that gets caught up in the system for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is how I operate in situations like that. I'm trying to anticipate where some lazy asshole is going to come in. And especially with spelling and stuff, I'm mad at this typo, Kate.
But
because we're mad at Verizon and Google because they didn't get back to him in time. Like by the time Kristil dies, they hadn't gotten anything from them. But if Martinez resubmitted on December 6th, unless he had an epiphany while he's at his family's Thanksgiving, he was contacted by Verizon or one of those three that said, hey, we don't have anything for Kristil Krug. And he goes, oh, it's Kristil. And then he had to resubmit it. So I want to know, could they have had those records if there was not that typo?
I see your point, and I raise you this.
Okay.
All of those companies don't need her correct spelling because they have her phone number.
Well, but
it shouldn't matter the name of the person being contacted. They're just asking for the contact of the number that was reaching out to her.
I think if it's misspelled on the warrant, then it gets thrown out of court. Like, I feel like that is a sign we can't give you this information yet because it's not for Kristen. It's for Kristil.
No, you're right. It will be not admissible in court if her name is spelled wrong.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But again, we'll have thoughts about this later. But she gets a text that says, like, I can get rid of him for you and then we could be together. Mm-hmm. Right? So she's worried about her husband, Dan.
And then we see Dan also being interviewed by the cops and he's really upset and he's like, I just feel like I can't protect my wife. Like, I feel pathetic because she's scared and I'm scared and, can't. What did he say? He's like, not living in fear, but he's like.
Well, he says, and I can't protect I'm doing a bad job at protecting my wife.
Yeah. Because
and he's all weepy and stuff.
He's essentially being stalked as well. Like, we've seen photos of him, and now this person texting saying, I can get rid of him for you. Now he's like, oh, great. Now I'm possibly going to be murdered.
Yeah.
I'm doing a job protecting my wife.
And they talk about how she's fiercely protective of her family.
I mean, they have kids. They have 3 kids. Yeah. And no mention of them really at all in this episode. Like, I don't think that they told the kids about any of this, which was a good move because scaring them is the last thing you'd want to do as a parent. And luckily this stalker didn't show up at their games or their dance recital and take pictures either. So
yeah, I do like that when Dan's in there, I'm side-eyeing him because he looks lame to me and the way he carried himself. And then I loved that Martinez goes, I had the impression after talking to Dan that Kristil would be much better at protecting herself than Dan would be at protecting Kristil.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Who did Dan look like?
Ooh. This guy whose name I don't know, but is in a lot of stuff, and he was on Lost and Mad Men.
Well, I know who you're thinking of, because I agree.
Yeah.
What's his name? Fischler?
He's the Utz potato chip guy on Mad Men. You gonna look him up?
Patrick Fischler.
There you go. So we're thinking of the same guy?
Is that who you're thinking of?
That's him. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
As soon as I saw Dan, I was like, okay, so that's Fischler. But also, now hear me out. Picture Lee Pace, but if he got his face smashed in.
Yeah, I could see that. If he had his face smashed in and his backbone sucked out.
Yeah.
I thought this guy I didn't like anything about this guy. We see a lot of him talking to cops and stuff, and I don't like the way he was talking to cops where he's like, I saw the door closing. I didn't see the garage door get closed.
Yes,
I just wanted to go punch face.
He over-enunciated a lot.
I watched the garage door closing, not necessarily closed.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, and it irked me. Kristil starts carrying a gun in her purse and bought a purse that had a special concealed carry pocket for the gun in the purse. Have you ever heard of this?
No, but I'm not mad at it.
No, I mean, I Googled it. They do exist. I couldn't really find a great shot of what the pocket was. Like, what makes it for a gun that it's just for the nose to stick, like the handle can be reached?
Yeah, I guess the handle is easy access, but it secures.
Yeah.
What is this?
What is that, the nose? I don't know. Right?
Man, we're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever the top part of the gun is.
Oh, God.
So it's Thanksgiving, and she is sitting facing the door, like she's like a detective or like a spy agent in a movie or something, right? Like, don't have your back to the door.
You know,
and cops are even outside watching.
My dad always did that.
Was he up to illegal stuff?
No, but whenever we went out somewhere, he would insist on sitting in the seat that faced the door so he could see the exits. I think he was, being macho.
She started carrying a Sig Sauer 9mm.
So she's telling everybody about it. And maybe a little too much because her daughter is a nutcracker at the school, and the people at the school were like, do not volunteer to help out with this, and also don't come and see your daughter perform. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this move?
I think it was a little bit of an overreach on the part of the school, but if I were her, I probably wouldn't want to be leaving the house anyway.
Yeah, and she even says that, like, when this is nearing its end, like, she's staying inside all the time because that's where she feels most safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But look, I don't have kids. I don't give a shit about a dance recital. If I can miss it, great.
Yeah. Great point. But wait, how funny was it they said Nutcracker? Because I recently posed a question to you, have you ever seen a real ballet? And you said, does Nutcracker count? And I said, well, if there were adults involved, yes. Isn't that funny? We were just talking about Nutcracker.
We were talking about Nutcracker. And I was thinking that maybe I had seen Swan Lake, but I don't think so. Just Nutcracker.
I have distinct memories of seeing a Nutcracker with adults in it.
Yeah.
So that would have been a ballet as well, too. My sister was also in Nutcracker, of course. Classic.
I saw it on, in Radio City Music Hall, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So now she's carrying a gun. Dan installs cameras. New locks on all the doors. Thursday morning, December 14th. This is day of the murder. All 4 cameras are working. Mm-hmm. And we see cars leave and stuff.
Yeah.
And we see Dan pull out at like 8:30. He gets a text at 8:56 from Kristil that says, hey, can you pick up so-and-so? I have to meet with Martinez, the detective. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Hey, I left my chicken out. Can you put it back in the fridge for me? And this was one of the things where that means if she's texting after Dan left, then he couldn't be the killer, is the thinking here. Mm-hmm. And then 9:17, he calls her because she doesn't respond or anything. No response. So over the next 2 or 3 hours, he calls a few times, no dice. And at noon, he straight up calls the police and says, can you do a welfare check on my wife? What are you thinking here?
Well, her parents lived close by. Feels like...
And he called them too?
He called them too, but he called the cops first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I would... Well, you know what? No. If my wife was being stalked, I guess I would freak out like that and call the cops. I was trying to think,
You're right.
that's weird to jump to that conclusion. But if this was happening, yeah, I would be alarmed.
Yeah, good point. I guess my thinking was I'd go look myself if I was that concerned for 3 hours. I mean, that doesn't seem that nuts, but you're right. We've got to think of this whole stalking thing. So, so then now we're back at current day, and Mom's trying to go in the garage and is stopped because she sees her dead daughter, and it's super bummer. This was sad too. She goes, I saw the stretcher coming out of the ambulance, so I thought, hey, there's a chance that they could save her. They're going to take her to the hospital and do stuff. And then somebody says, no, forget it. We don't need it. Oof.
Yeah. And her stepsister was there too when that happened.
Yeah. And we talked to her. She's also talking head. We talked to her parents and her sister a bunch. And her sister was there consoling everybody, including Dan, who shows up and starts bawling and weeping and is, as she says, like trying to throw up and stuff. We see him too on somebody's body cam. He's there super upset.
He's like collapsing into the sister's arms.
Yeah. Now with this murder, this ups the status of all the previous stuff because it's no longer just stalking case, it's a murder case. So now they're like, now we really got to find Anthony. And we forgot to mention that Kristil had hired a PI on her own, and he had found out he lives in either Utah or Idaho or whatever the 2 places were. And they find out that he's at the Utah address. So they contact those police out there, and they go out to this house, and they talk to Anthony Holland. This is the ex.
And this is on the day that she was murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Because
day of.
They're wondering if Anthony is there at his house, there's physically no way he could have murdered her because it's an 8-hour drive and 8 hours hadn't even passed.
Yeah. So that they were shocked instantly because this has been the only suspect for the stalking. Mm-hmm. And so they're shocked that he's there. They're like, wait a minute. How can he be here 8 hours?
Not only is he there, he's like totally clueless.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, we dated in 1999. And the cop's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the cop knew that answer too.
Right. But he's like, yeah, a long time ago. I talked to her like once 20 years ago and then another time like 10 years ago. But she, blocked me and I was like drunk one night. But like I haven't talked to her. I don't know where she lives. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm with you. He plays it super chill, and he had invited them inside. He's talking to them.
Well, because they never told him that she was murdered.
There was a lot of police officers, and there was cars everywhere, and I'm like, geez, I must be in trouble. I had no idea what was going on.
You say to them, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, and they wouldn't tell me.
Well, this is my thing. This is a pet peeve of mine about how law works. They're not allowed to tell anybody anything ever. And I just think if I was Anthony and the cops showed up and were asking questions about an ex-girlfriend who I hadn't seen in person in 23, 24 years, I would demand to know why the you're asking about her. Mm-hmm. And they didn't tell him. And I was like, what? I don't know. Situations like this are just...
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey, who did he remind you of?
Current day, Anthony?
Current day, yeah. If you closed your eyes and just listened to him talk, it's Dax Shepard in Idiocracy.
Oh, I like money.
Yeah.
How many billions?
Like 10.
Yeah, suck one.
And you're going to do a side-by-side right now.
Okay.
I'm like, geez, I must be in trouble.
Yeah. I like money, though.
Now that we've gotten to the point where we know that he wasn't there at the scene of the murder, I'm here to support Anthony Holland in this episode. I think in many ways he gets the short end of the stick. And, good for him for being cool to come on Dateline and talk and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I thought they did some shady stuff.
They made him a villain for the whole episode.
Yes. Now, this is perfect. Okay, so the whole episode we're going, it could be her ex, Anthony. He really wanted her. He was trying to get her. And JMank's throwing a commercial. And in the bumper, he's like, and the cops really wanted to talk to Anthony Holland. And then he goes, so did I.
Mm-hmm. Okay, JMank.
Investigators had plenty more questions for Anthony Holland. So did I.
And now that was cool, but we see a clip of their interview. You know how they do a little clip before commercial? JMank goes,
you did not want to let her go.
And this shot they show of Anthony reacting to that looks like he's so pissed at JMank for asking. Now, I'm about to send you the clip, Kate, because I need you to see this.
I remember it. You don't even have to send it to me.
What?
I totally know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm sending it anyway because I made the clip.
Okay. But I agree, it's misleading because we come back and when we actually see the interview, it's not the context at all.
No, and I have, in the clip that I just sent Kate, it cuts to Anthony and he looks offended that JMank would even suggest that, and he does not answer. Now, when he's really asked that question, he chuckles and says, yeah, I really had a hard time getting over her. Like, he's nothing but affable this whole thing.
Yeah.
You did not want to let her go.
No, I struggled with that.
It also offers some perspective because we learn that, yeah, he reached out to her in 2004, then again in 2016, and he was a little too drunk and said some stuff, and then she blocked him, and that was that. And
yeah.
I get that she was really trying to think of who could possibly be stalking her. To me, his actions at no point were creepy. Like, we've all been there where someone has had too much to drink and they hit you up. And it's like, ooh, that's cringe.
Yes.
That's not a big deal.
No. Yeah. I mean, I've successfully buried all of them except for maybe one or two. But I definitely have those in my past where you send an email when you're drunk or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I still get them all the time from people.
Because something tells me you're on the other end of this, Kate.
I'm on the other end of it. Yeah, I've never done that. But, like, I get...
You're always getting...
people come out of the woodwork all the time, like,
I miss you.
Hey, how have you been? Yeah, that kind of shit.
That's amazing.
Y'all, I'm married.
Yeah, of course. Here's what's funny is we see Anthony tells JMank that he got drunk and had said some stuff that he regretted. But we hear the specifics of it in the tape because Kristil also talks about that. And what he said specifically was, And this, I know why he didn't say this to JMank, because it'd be embarrassing. As he goes, so I just think our life was like the movie The Notebook. Oh, we're meant to be together.
What he doesn't
I'm cringing
remember.
on behalf.
What he doesn't remember is their relationship in The Notebook is toxic as hell.
Well, and it ends. One of them has Alzheimer's, and they're not together.
No.
It's like they died together, right?
They don't remember. She doesn't remember him.
Yeah. So I don't know what you mean by that. That's another good point. Have you seen The Notebook? It's like when we were asking if AC had seen Rear Window.
I went with some friends to Blockbuster, okay? And we decided to rent The Notebook. None of us had seen it. We bring it up to the counter, and the person working there was like, you better have some Kleenex handy. And we were like, oh, okay. And wouldn't you know, we all watched that movie with completely dry eyes.
Really?
No one cried. We were like, what?
That's really funny. I saw that in theaters with my girlfriend at the time, and I believe that she did absolutely cry. I might have too. I'm not here saying I cry at all sorts of stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I love that you were like, what? What's the big deal?
What's the big deal? Now, A Walk to Remember, I cry every time. Still, to this day.
Okay. I don't know. That's a Keanu joint, right?
No.
Wait, don't
No,
say
that's
anything
Mandy
anymore! Ha! I said it before you could say it, Kate.
Yeah.
So I wasn't completely wrong. Sorry, I made it weird there. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. Tell me about A Walk to Remember.
Oh, it's a classic.
I was getting along with everything fine, and then you happened.
I guess I can't blame JMank, unless he's in the editing bay when they did this. But Dateline seriously played him super dirty there. I mean, that's like against journalism rules in my eyes. Don't you think?
It is kind of against journalism rules, but it's like clickbait.
Yeah, but it's like not how it happened. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like how clickbaity it was. It was very clickbaity. It's just, cliffhanger before commercial. It's classic stuff. But I was irritated because they keep coming for this guy. Because when they're talking about how, okay, so he didn't fly back and stuff. We're talking to the prosecutors that did this case too. That was, one of the prosecutors was a smoke show. I'm going to send it to you right now.
Oh, so that's who you were talking about.
Here it comes. Now, it might have just been this glow up for the talking head, because I don't know if she was this much of a babe in the trial, but I'm still thinking about her.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Right? Mm-hmm. She was cool. But it's the other one that JMank's talking to, and they have a little laugh, because JMank goes, Anthony Holland did not have access to a private jet.
No, he did not. He did not have the means.
Because he's so poor and stupid.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up. Yeah.
And they went as far as to check the logs. All like the flight manifests leaving the state. Come on, guys.
He's not the kind of person who has access to private aircraft.
No, Anthony Holland did not have access to personal aircraft.
Yeah, and then JMank goes, when he's talking to the prosecutors, like, well, I mean, maybe he did have someone do it for him because he tried pretty hard to get her back. And I want to go,
he didn't.
No, he didn't. He got drunk like 7 years prior and sent her a message on Facebook, and she blocked him. And as he says, when she blocked me, I didn't have her email saved. I didn't.
That was it.
He's like, he was straight up just going like, if I knew how to get a hold of her, I might have, but it was out of my hands.
Totally.
Right?
They were still trying to pin him as this like pathetic dude.
Yeah. But they make a good point that stalking is personal, and you would never trust this type of thing to someone else. I think it's a great point.
The whole point is you want to do it yourself. You want to be close to them. So close you kill them.
Yeah. Okay. Day after the murder, Kristil's parents and sister come down to the station. We see their interview footage as well. This was in 2023. Now, the dad's name, I forgot the name, but it was something awesome that went along with his hairstyle. Was it Lars? It might have been Lars. I think was his name.
Kristil's parents, Lars and Linda.
But do you remember her dad and how he had like the mullet thing going on back here, right?
He did.
Now, when I see that guy who's in his late 60s or something, right? Mm-hmm. When I see this man with this like skullet almost, it's not a skullet, but it's like a mullet long hair thing that people had in the 80s. Mm-hmm. When I see a man with that hairstyle, I go, oh, he had that when he was 20 and he never got rid of it.
Yes.
But you watch this footage of this interview, which was a year and a half ago, it was shorter than that. So he has since made it longer and stuff. I'm baffled. I want to talk to Lars and go, what made you do this? Because it was way shorter in the interview.
Well, maybe he was going back to what he had in his youth.
I guess. That, to me, is more confusing and shocking than him just hanging on to it. That I get and can respect and go like, I feel you, brother. Like, I feel you. Don't get rid of it. Hang on to it. But the fact...
But
this just threw me for a loop.
I have to say, it worked for him. I liked it.
Yeah. Kate was into it. I didn't think you'd be into that hairstyle.
Well, no, not like in a sexy way.
Right.
I just think like that suits you, and you have a
beard.
good head of hair for it. Like it wasn't like a sad balding one.
I mean, it's thinning a little bit.
No offense.
Okay. I'm now offended you even just said that to me. But anyway. Anyway, moving on.
Sure was damp today.
I like this too. The sister's going to the cops. You know, she did everything right. Like, why couldn't you guys fix this? And I'm with her.
Yeah.
'Cause think about all the she did to prevent this. And this is what's so frustrating about this case, is because this isn't the first time we've heard of people being stalked like this and then getting murdered. This is the most extreme version, where she's like, here, I made you a log. Here's a little literal scrapbook of what's been happening to me.
And
it's still, even with that.
We see her sister and Dan both on the day, like the day of or the days following, with the police, saying like she did everything right, still it wasn't enough. And you see the cops in those interviews being like nodding, being like,
Yeah.
like knowing that I don't think it's their fault. You think the typo is their fault, whatever. But they're like, yeah, she did do everything right. She absolutely did. And then Dan was saying something, and the cop was like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
He did say that. That was Martinez.
I didn't protect her. It's not your fault.
Yeah, which will be funny here pretty soon. I'm
Pretty
pretty
soon.
proud of myself that we made it this far.
I think we might as well just get right into it.
Not yet. This was wild because the prosecutors, this is day of that this is going down. The prosecutors are watching them interview people. And they bring Dan in, and he's on that same couch he was 2 months ago. But now he's all, I'm sad because my wife's dead. And he's sitting there. This is when the prosecutors, they're like, okay, well, now we can go back to, they go back to Verizon and Google of like, hey, where the hell is it? And wouldn't you know, I think all three of them gave them the results they wanted within the hour.
Yeah.
Within the hour.
And that is my beef with them. That's why I'm not mad at the cops. I'm mad at them because it's like, you could have done it immediately. It's just now that there's a dead body, you're like, oh, now we'll do it. But you could have avoided this. If they found out who was sending these things a month earlier, she'd be alive.
Did the companies respond almost immediately, turning over the requested information within an hour?
Well, okay, because when the prosecutors called and said, hey, we really need this info, and they gave it to him. This is why I'm putting the blame on the cops. I think that Martinez did everything he was supposed to by the book with this woman who came in and said she was being stalked. I also think he was just going through the motions of submitting the stuff he needed to. He could have also called Google and said, hey, because even Google says, like, they order them based on importance on a lot of factors. Well, one of those factors would be if the cop was like, hey, this is a stalking case. Can you like light a fire under your butt on this one?
Maybe, yeah.
He could have done that. He didn't do dick. He just sent it to them. And that's it. That's where I'm like, these cops aren't getting off scot-free because of the typo, for one. Because this we get all this information and we find out what IP address it's coming from. And Kate, would you like the honors of telling us where that IP address was? Was it at Anthony's house in Utah?
No.
No.
Y'all, it was coming from Dan's office. It was the Wi-Fi network at his work, which means Dan, her husband, was her stalker. And that photo that was taken of him, allegedly, by the stalker, it was his phone. It was taken in selfie mode on a timer.
Yes.
It showed the photo had been taken in selfie mode, likely on a timer.
This is how I knew from the jump, because we've talked about it before. I mean, Mark Jensen or whatever, like, anytime there's a concerted effort to terrorize a woman by stalking them or sending them mean photos, it's always without fail the husband. This isn't like 80% of murders happen from the spouse or the loved one. 100% when there's multiple efforts to stalk and terrorize someone, it's always been the husband.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Always. And that's why I knew from this. I was like, that's why I hated him from the jump too. I was like, there's no other scenario where it could be anyone else. And now that we know, we still got like the trial and all the stuff to happen.
But
right?
now we can look at it with a different lens. Like how, he was so upset, but he never actually shed a tear. He was just crying without tears.
Okay. Now, this was your soapbox, Kate.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. This is when I said, oh, Kate's beaming right now, so let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was allegedly sobbing and collapsing into the sister's arms and crying on the couch with the cops, but not once did he actually shed a tear.
No, and the sister says that morning she noticed that there were no tears. She said, do you think Dan did this? Like, even then, because she said, I didn't see any tears.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. Anytime they showed him crying, I was going, I wonder, Kate's looking for tears right now, and I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any tears.
I was suspicious of him as soon as we saw him post-murder.
Yeah.
Also because he wasn't being interviewed. So I thought either he was also murdered or he did it.
He was very upset, but there were no tears.
So as soon as I found out this was a stalking case where there was a lot of proof and stuff, which happens super early, I did go, well, it's Dan 100%. And now let's just revisit some of the things that solidified it for me. And that I knew it was the husband because a random stranger wouldn't be this cruel, okay? It's only the hate that is brewing inside of someone who's about to murder you that would say things like, hey, oh, I saw a picture, you got fat. Or, I see you flirting with waiters. Guess what? She had just gone out to eat with Dan, and Dan personally thought she was flirting with the waiter. I bet that's when he sent that text.
And we learn from family that their marriage had actually been on the rocks for a while, and Kristil was ready to leave him.
Yeah.
And he didn't want her to leave, so he thought by stalking and threatening her, it would make her, I guess, run back into his arms, but it did the opposite. She was just kind of like, afraid of everybody.
Yeah, like that's what the prosecution will present at trial. The motive was he wanted to scare her into sticking around because she had been saying that they're going to split up once the youngest is out of school. The kid at the time was 10. And then all of a sudden, the last year, she's telling people, no, we're splitting. I can't stand him. I got to get out of there now. So his idea was, I'll threaten her and make her feel like she's only safe with me. That's why he said the stuff about, we get rid of him and then you're all mine. This is more stuff where I'm going, just imagine a husband texting this stuff, and it all makes perfect sense.
But then why kill her if you want to be with her?
Well, it's the classic, if I can't be, then nobody can. Like, that was the end of the line for him.
It's so stupid.
I think. And here's... Okay, also, he called Kristil's mom and said, hey, I'm worried about your daughter. Do you mind going to check? And that was so that she could find the body.
Cruel. And her parents were like, it's the most cruel, inhumane thing for him to do that, knowing full well that she was dead in there.
And maybe it's because we did it so early, but the Mark Jensen case, I think of all the time with this, because it's like, this to me is the meanest people are on Dateline, is the who not only do the murder, but spend months terrorizing them. I mean, she even put a camera in her car. We see her driving and crying because she's scared. I mean, I'm over here seething now, thinking of it, but this is evil. Evil, evil.
And then the cops, they confront Dan. He thinks he's just in there for a little interview.
And that's day of, Kate. That's
day of the murder. And they're like, so Dan, this was great when they said the IP address actually matches your office. And without skipping a beat, this is the most guilty he looked the whole time. He goes, well, that doesn't make any sense. And he said it too fast.
Yeah.
He didn't stop to pretend to ingest that information long enough. He knew it was coming because he knew that's where he had sent everything from.
Yeah.
And he just said it too quickly and it wasn't believable. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's public Wi-Fi and we post the passwords in every meeting room in the building. Anyone could have done it.
And that's another thing that he said with his emphasis on stuff where he's like, they post the password in every room in the building. That was his delivery of stuff that bugged me.
The emphasis was so irritating.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
They literally post the passwords in every single meeting room.
I don't care if you find him and kill him. Just find him.
That's what he said. So they got to take his clothes for evidence and stuff. And we have him on the body cam saying, hey, guys, just find the guy who did this, okay? Another thing we've heard from the killer.
I don't care if you capture him. I don't care if you kill him. Find him.
Here's a question for you. Where...
It's always the husband.
Oh, man. When he was in the room, like, pretending to know stuff about cops when he's like, and you just on your checklist, I'm the husband, so I did it. And it's like, well, yeah, you did, because you're super dumb because you used your work email. Did you not think that they'd be able to trace that IP, my man? Did you think that that was not possible? That's what I want to know. How stupid are you? Then he offers up his phone the day before he had searched how hard to hit someone to knock them out. And guess what? Kristil was knocked out with a blunt force trauma, then she was stabbed a few times. So it makes all perfect sense. And then they track, this was another part where I'm just like, this is where I'm just basking in the idiocy of this dum-dum that I hate so much, is they trace the burner phone that he was doing the texting from, was purchased at a Walmart with a gift card. And you're thinking, oh, smart. Okay, so he used cash to buy a gift card and then he bought it. No, he used his credit card to buy the gift card because it was connected to his name.
Dumbass.
That card was registered to Dan Krug.
That means he used a credit card to buy that gift card, Kate. What a fucking idiot.
He's an idiot.
What an idiot. Oh my God. Oh, that is just, okay.
So he comes out of the police station into the grieving arms of his wife's family, and he's like, I need a lawyer. I need help paying for a lawyer. And JMank talks to the sister, and he's like, so he didn't say anything about like, I'm so sorry you lost your sister. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
This is so awful. It was all about him. And she was like, oh yeah, it was always all about him.
This is another classic telltale sign of killers, is this type of like just completely, it's like narcissism 101, but it's like, it's only about them. Like, God forbid he remembers that like other people loved her.
Right.
Right? Like, he's the mourning husband. Oh, the love of my life. Ugh. It's trial time. And, when they arrested him, it was the Whistler guy who got the collar.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that funny? That wasn't planned. He was out on his patrol. This was just a guy on patrol who did welfare checks for old ladies and stuff.
And he saw him, and he pulled into a parking lot behind him and arrested him.
How satisfying is that, huh?
Very.
That's going to feel pretty good.
And while the prosecution is building their case, they get this star witness who is an ex-girlfriend of Dan's.
Yeah, I don't know if it's star witness. This is another thing I thought they kind of...
That's what they said.
Yes, they did, absolutely. I think they kind of blew it out of proportion, but go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, basically she was saying, we used to date and he's a psycho and he stalked me too, and I still live in fear because of the stuff that he did to me. And I think that that is absolutely valid evidence, but would that hold up in court? Would the judge even allow that? Because it's a totally different... I mean, I guess it's a character witness.
More specifically, though, he created false identities to tell her to get back together with him. So that's how it ties to this case, is because he'll be charged with it, but criminal impersonation, right?
It's pattern behavior.
Yeah, so I guess that's the connection. But it was... in that case, she had a temporary restraining order on him, and after 3 months of investigating, the school did determine it came from the IP address of his school on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Right? So, but he never got arrested or anything for that. Now, she's in there going, like, we don't see her face, and JMank says it's because she's afraid of Dan. One, Dan's not going to see this unless they have Dateline in jail, but also... I think Dan would still I would recognize an ex of mine if I saw her body and talking and it was just her face blurred. I think I'd recognize. Right?
Yeah. I also think, though, maybe that she said she's traumatized from what he did to her, and maybe she's just like super private and doesn't want to be anywhere anymore. And it has nothing to do with him. It's like she's just so guarded now.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of that episode we did not too long ago with the friend who was accused of being in love with the victim. Remember the lesbian?
Yes.
And she said it ruined her life, and she's nowhere on the internet. She's nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I liked that lady. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be something similar where it's like you don't want to open up any doors.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that. I mean, like, that's why I'm commending Anthony for being on Dateline, because there's people who probably still think he did it because they heard one story. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this kind of stuff.
He wanted to clear his name.
Yeah, and I don't, unless the people watch this Dateline, I think some people he still has that stigma of like, oh, people thought he killed his ex. It's like, no, he didn't have anything to do with it. He drunk dialed her 10 years ago or whatever. Okay, so now it's time for the trial, and, here's the biggest thing, because as the defense is going to point out, there's no murder weapon. You can't put him at the scene of the crime. And we hear juries love DNA. And I thought, Kurt's kick-ass list coming. But I didn't.
No.
But the one concern is, how the hell did he get a text from her while he was at work? And we know this because of the records, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is when the hot attorney goes, I'll say it in lay person's terms. And then she started to say her phone wasn't illuminated, and then they cut. Now, I can imagine her watching this episode going, I kept talking for 10 more minutes after that. Because that's not an explanation. Her phone wasn't lit up. Like, I can extrapolate what she was saying.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? These are editor things where I'm just like, I don't know. Anyway, point is, I think all she had to say was, what she meant when she said her phone wasn't illuminated, it means it was locked when the text was sent.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom.
So Dan scheduled the response. He scheduled all of these texts.
Which I did not know was a possibility, but there's a ton of like third-party text apps out there where I bet you can do this. Like perhaps this Text Now or whatever, right? Like
Could be.
I can't preset, and one of them, they were either both on Samsung's or Dan was. It could be a feature of Samsung I'm not familiar with. I, for one, am not familiar with sending texts on a schedule, but I know you can do that with emails. So why can't you do it with text? Same damn thing.
I mean, we don't party with Android.
Also, when Dateline reached out to those companies, to Verizon and Google and stuff, Verizon and Google got back to them and said, how they run their ship. And they were like, Text Now did not reply to anything.
Text Now did not respond to our questions.
And I want to say, like, good on you. But also, Text Now is obviously a much smaller company than Verizon or Google.
Yes.
Right? So they might not have the personnel to be responding to Dateline, but I don't know. Look, I'm not here to protect these tech companies, okay? I just, I think it was laziness on both ends. But ultimately, it's up to the cops. They know why they're submitting that information. And if these phone companies get 1,000 requests a month, there's got to be, it can't just, you see what I'm saying?
I do. It sounds like the system needs to be overhauled.
Yeah, and I here's what I think needs to change is, I'm not saying that like phone records should be government property or something, but the way that cell phones have taken over how people live their lives, there needs to be a better streamline for how law enforcement can get those records, because they're so clearly important for every crime ever committed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes these shows act like it's like, and Verizon got back to us, thank God. And I just want to be like, no. There should be what Kristil's cousin is pitching at the end of this episode, that there be a 48-hour window where you must reply if it's a stalking case. And I think that's a good move. Don't you think that's a good move?
I do.
Okay, so he's at trial. All the stuff his defense attorney is trying to say is so dumb. Oh, he was searching about getting hit on the head because he had lunch with a friend who was in a wheelchair and it was hard of hearing. Okay, what's that got to do with getting hit in the head?
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. And also, Dan, by the time he's in court, his hair is white.
White, yeah. It turned. It absolutely did. And he came in smiling, and the family was like...
They were not having it.
No, don't do it. And I like that Anthony was even like, I tried to stare him down. This guy wanted to frame me for murder, and he wouldn't even look at me. I mean, the fact that one of those texts said, hey, it's Anthony, I think it's correct in saying that Dan planned from the jump. He knew that his wife was quasi scared of this ex because of this 2016 reach out and the fact that she had blocked him.
Yep.
So he's doing this on purpose of being like, you're going to be my stooge in this, my patsy.
Totally.
As I was leaving, I stared him down and he didn't look at me. He just looked straight like this.
Didn't want to face you.
He couldn't even look me in the face. No, he's trying to frame me for murder and he couldn't even look at me.
So he's found guilty of all of it. Stalking, first-degree murder, criminal impersonation. Guilty. I think he's in life, or in there for life. Although maybe has he been sentenced? Because this happened in like May of this year.
I don't know. Throw away the key.
Dan Krug was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
I feel like if he ever has a parole hearing, if I was the family members, I'd be bringing clips of him from this Dateline of all the body cam footage of him whining and stuff and going like, my wife, I can't protect her. Right?
Every single parole hearing. Roll the clip.
Yeah. That's all I'll do. I go, okay, you guys ready? We hit the lights? Roll the clip. And they go, you're right. Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. All right. Well, I think that brings us to our list. Is there anything we're forgetting here, Kate?
Kate's unnamed list.
What do you got?
Well, I believe there was a subtle mention of a puzzle.
Okay, continue.
But I don't think it was the full-on piece of the puzzle. But it was something about putting a puzzle together.
Okay, Kate, here's the bad news. It happened twice, and one of them was specifically what we're talking about.
Okay.
Now, look, I'm not coming for you. I said to myself, if Kate didn't catch these two puzzles, there was going to be a forceful takeover. But you did recognize them, so we're still good. But there were two of them. One is talking about the ex-girlfriend. Could this be the final piece of the puzzle?
Perhaps this woman's story would be the final piece of the puzzle.
Okay. And then the next one was, they did some awesome FF type stuff with the blue painter's tape, where they connected it to the roll of blue painter's tape in the kitchen.
Yes.
And they fit together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes. The tears lined up astonishingly perfectly.
So if we didn't mention it before, Dan put painter's tape over the Ring camera the day of.
Yeah.
And they found the roll of painter's tape in the kitchen, and it matched.
Yeah, and they said all the other cameras were turned off. One of those outdoor cameras, there was blue painter's tape on the gutter. Did you see that?
No.
So I don't know if he was going to put tape on it and decided not to.
What an idiot.
Yeah, and do you know how much I wish that there hadn't been that typo? Kristil found this out, and just think of the victory tour she would be going on during her divorce proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dan would never bounce back from this. Never.
He might still kill her, though. Because she'd get full custody of the kids, everything.
Yeah, but I mean, like, she said she felt safe at home, and they're saying that he waited till her back was turned to hit her on the head. So, like, she had her gun with her because she had her purse with her. But I don't think she had crossed that line in her head yet. She didn't think that her husband could be that evil, I think. This was another case of these poor wives not realizing how just super monstrous people can be and not wanting to deal with it, right? Like, yeah. So I think once she knew, she found out all of this was him. I feel like she might have killed him or something. I really wish
in self-defense,
she had gotten,
yeah.
I wish she had gotten that satisfaction of busting his ass on this. That'd have been really dope. You got anything else for us?
That's it.
That's it. On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
The Notebook, shout out. They say The Notebook in the captions. Boom, movie reference. Count it.
He'd send me snippets of saying he thought our relationship was like The Notebook and that we'd always end up together. I'm like, whoa, this is getting really weird, right?
Are we counting Nutcracker? I think there's a movie of it, but we're talking plays of it. I don't know. This is iffy.
It's still culture.
Something? Okay, let's count it. Now, this one's my favorite, and you said it earlier, but JMank says the call is coming from inside the house.
She would have understood the call's coming from inside the house.
Now, that is a direct quote from the 70s horror film When a Stranger Calls, starring Carol Kane and Charles Durning.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house.
Now, it's based on a urban legend, but those exact words, the call is coming from inside the house, straight up from a movie that I'm going to be watching on Blue tonight while I'm editing this baby.
Nice. Love Carol Kane.
Have you ever seen that movie? I doubt it. I doubt you ever seen it.
No.
It's good.
Kurt.
What?
No. Every time you ask me, have you ever seen this really obscure movie from the 70s or 60s? No, Kurt, I haven't.
Yeah. Okay, so have you seen When a Stranger Calls Back, the sequel that they made in the 80s to this?
No, Kurt.
Even more obscure.
He was inside the house with her.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for my list. Well, that brings us to the end here. I feel like...
It's a good episode to start the season off, but can Dateline keep it up?
No.
Probably won't stick around to find out.
I mean, we'll be watching new episodes, but this episode certainly wasn't good enough for me to go, maybe we do have to cover new Datelines. Like...
Yeah.
There was just so much stuff in here that we needed to talk about based on the no tears and the fact that it's the husband that does shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we must talk about this on mic because it's too perfect for us, I thought. And JMank have an attitude sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was another thing. Okay, there was a recent development with the yogurt shop murders. Did you hear about that?
I did. They realized that the killer died like in the 90s.
Yeah, so like we said, I didn't finish that.
No, it was
series.
awful.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was god awful. But I wonder. So they didn't know about this info, right?
No.
So this sucks for them, huh?
I'm not crying for A24.
No, me neither. And I say that because I believe there's a murder that happens at a burger joint that I believe is what we'll talk about next week. It's a feature-length doc that's on Amazon that I think does some very cool stuff that I'd like to talk to you about style-wise.
Oh, cool.
And so maybe that's what we'll do. But we'll be keeping an eye on these Datelines. And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I like Money.